functions. Okay, so today we went over solving triangles, just given some information. So the first triangle we're going to solve is for a right triangle ABC, given that angle C is 90 degrees, B is equal to 41 degrees, and C is going to be equal to 12 centimeters. So the thing that we want to make a note of is that this is capitalized, this is capitalized. That right there tells me it's an angle without this symbol angle telling me. This being lowercase tells me that it's a side length without it giving me that. So remember, we use the capital letters and the lowercase letters as a communication tool. All right, so let's get this triangle set up. So this is my triangle. And I'm going to go ahead and set up my givens. So I've got C, that has to be opposite of it. And then I'm going to make my angle B right here. Since my angle B, oops, all my stuff away, is right here, then my angle A has to be right there, which makes my side length A across opposite from it, straight across, and my side length B across from that. Okay, so now we need to solve. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to solve for side length A. Why? Because I can. So every time we do this, we know we're going to be using sine, cosine, and tangent, SOHCAHTOA. We need to know if it's going to be the opposite in the hypotenuse, the adjacent in the hypotenuse, or the opposite over the adjacent to tell us which function we want to use to help us solve. So that means in relation to the given angle. So our given angle is B, which is 41 degrees. And if I'm solving for side A, that's going to be the adjacent side for that angle. And I'm going to be using this one right here because it's a given. That is the hypotenuse. So that adjacent hypotenuse, well, that's cosine. So the cosine of 41 is the adjacent over the hypotenuse, which is what we just said. And when I want to get A by itself, I'm going to multiply both sides by 12. I end up with 12 times cosine 41. And that is what I'm going to plug in my calculator. And I end up with 9.05, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so now we need to find side length B. So side length B, again, we're going to be using the given angle and the hypotenuse. Well, this is the opposite side and the hypotenuse, which is sine, opposite over hypotenuse. So the sine of B is going to be the sine of 41 degrees. It's going to be B over 12, which B is going to be equal to 12 times sine of 41, which is what I'm going to type in my calculator. And then I end up with 7.827208348. Okay, so the next thing I have to do is my rounding. So I'm going to look at the problem, and everything is at a whole number. So I'm going to round to the nearest whole number. All right, so A is 9.0 or 9.1, which is going to round to the nearest 9. And then B is 7.8, so that's going to round up to 8. So I end up with 9 centimeters for A and 8 centimeters for B. Okay, so again, make sure that you are using your units of measure so I know what we're talking about. So I've got my degrees right here. I've got my centimeters marked clearly. You all need to make sure you have that. I will mark it wrong on the test if you do not give me your units of measure. Okay, so the last thing we need to find is this missing angle. So the way that I decided to do it was I decided to do 90 degrees minus 41, which gives me 49 degrees. All right. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, this is what we worked on.